My mom and dad taught us that service to God and country are paramount, and that citizenship is not a spectator sport. That's what drove all of us boys to become Eagle Scouts. It's why we all continue to serve in our country's armed forces. It all stems from 235 years ago, when our founding fathers broke away from an oppressive government. That spirit, that sacrifice, that commitment to America has defined and protected our liberty ever since. But today, those liberties are under attack, and as Attorney General, I'm here as our state's chief legal officer to let you know how my office and I are defending our Constitution, our state, and our citizens to ensure South Carolina is the safest and best place to live, work, and raise a family. Lately, that's required that we challenge the federal government when its agencies and policies have threatened our way of life, our rights, our freedoms, and our state's constitutional sovereignty, which is guaranteed by the 10th Amendment. In the last 6 months, we have been fighting a battle on multiple fronts to protect our state and our citizens against overreaching federal actions, like the unconstitutional health care mandate, the National Labor Relations Board's complaint against Boeing, new restrictive and expansive EPA regulations, and so much more. In the big picture, the question lingers whether we remain citizens under the Constitution or become subjects of the federal government. Just last month, our future was front and center at both the appeals court hearing on the 26th state challenge to Obamacare and in Charleston, where members of Congress traveled to look into the NLRB's unprecedented complaint against Boeing. I'm not sure which of those policies is worse for South Carolina, or worse for America for that matter. With Obamacare, we have a radical rewrite of the Commerce Clause that gives the federal government the right to regulate not just economic activity, but also economic inactivity. When you look at the Obamacare debacle, you have to wonder if the federal regulation requiring Americans to work out 60 minutes a day at Gold's Gym or pay a couch potato tax could be next. That may seem far-fetched, but requiring American citizens to purchase a health care policy or be in violation of the law seemed far-fetched just 5 years ago. With the NLRB's complaint against Boeing, I'm personally drawing a line at South Carolina's border to ensure any business in our state has the ability to create jobs, expand operations, allocate capital, and make sound business decisions without federal government intrusion. If the NLRB and the union bosses get their way in the Boeing case, we could lose more than 1,000 jobs. The NLRB contends that Boeing retaliated against their union when they expanded operations to South Carolina. This expansion brought a new production line, 1,000 jobs, and a $6.1 billion annual economic impact to our state. Additionally, it created 2,000 new jobs in Washington state. I'll tell you what I told the congressional panel last month. If that's retaliating, then I hope Boeing and other companies retaliate more often. Unless we continue to stand for the core conservative constitutional values that you and I believe in, the NLRB and actions of other bureaucratic agencies will further paralyze our economy. Now, add the fact that the EPA is taking actions to impede the construction of our churches, schools, and retail centers unless they meet certain greenhouse gas standards. This adds another front to our fight for conservative values. But what troubles me most is that these policies are being enacted not by our elected leaders, but by unelected bureaucrats who are trying to circumvent Congress, administrate what Congress refuses to legislate, and do their best to make our legislative process irrelevant. They're thwarting job creation, attempting to govern by administrative fiat. We cannot and will not allow that. Above all else, we must follow the rule of law. As South Carolinians, we understand that it's business that creates capital and capital that creates jobs, not the government. As Republicans, we understand that government that governs least governs best. And as South Carolina Republicans, we understand the tenets of our Republican creed and what it means to be a free American. I thank the South Carolina Republican Party for the opportunity to deliver its weekly statewide address and for its continued support in our efforts to preserve, promote, and protect South Carolina's Constitution, our citizens, and our freedoms. Thank you.